Welcome back. I'm here today with Matt Shultz. He has an MBA and he's a product manager here with the Silicon Valley company. Matt, welcome to today's show.
Hi, thanks for having me, Alan.
So, Matt, you're one of these millennials, the millennial generation. What is a millennial?
So I'm trying to figure that out myself. I was, for me growing up, it's been an interesting thing about being being categorized as a Gen Y or a millennial. Where am I? Because I was born right at that line. But the more I live, the more I am out here and I interact with these younger kids who are just coming out of school. I feel like I think a lot like them. And so trying to figure out how does that work and how to stay focused is really it's a struggle. It helps with the innovation side, and it's great for being in tech, but it's also a challenge to make sure you stay on focus and actually get things done.
Yeah, the millennials are driving a lot of the innovation, the new companies today. You have the Facebooks that are coming out, and social media has become a big part of it. But walk me through your background of what brought you out to the highest cost of living area in the United States? You're not from this area, are you?
I'm not. I'm from Seattle.
Seattle.
Yeah,
okay.
Grew up in Seattle, but I'm a West Coast guy. I was born in LA, my parents are from there, and moved to Seattle when I was 4, so I claimed Seattle. And so going to school in the Mountain West area and working there for a few years, I've always wanted to get back to the West Coast. So after earning my MBA at BYU, I decided to take a job at a tech firm called Symantec, located in Mountain View, and came out here. Before that, I'd been in the consumer products industry. So I did finance for several years. And I liked finance a lot. I loved numbers, loved building spreadsheets. I loved those interactions. And that's what brought me out here to Symantec initially. I wanted to get into a different industry, one that's a little bit higher paced. The technology field, it was attractive to me because there's constant change. And so I spent a year and a half in finance at Symantec and then moved over into product management, which is completely different. And so it's more on the R&D side. I'm actually helping run part of the business, working with engineers. There's a lot more cross-functional collaboration, and there's a different set of challenges with that. And so coming out here, I love the weather. I love the opportunities. The career path is fantastic, and I see myself being here for a while.
You know, one thing I noticed is millennials are they're very adept to change. And so having tried finance, having tried technology, which one would you say you're more of right now?
Boy,
finance or technology guy?
I'm more of a technology guy now. Yeah, I will always have that finance skill set and that kind of that financial way of thinking. That quant side is really, really valuable wherever you go. Anywhere in business, that's really, really important. But I love technology and the host of challenges that confront you and just the array of problems you have to solve every day.
You know, I want to get into your head a little bit with I'm a baby boomer. Totally different generation, but the millennials, they grew up with the texting. They grew up with, the Nintendos, and technology was always part of your life from an early age. When you started in your career with running numbers, I'm sure that was probably a little bit foreign to you, and you went through MBA school, but help me differentiate what the difference between a finance career and a technology career.
So finance is more of a supporting role, and so you are helping to educate and to inform the business, like the business leaders, the general managers, et cetera. And it's really a key element of any well-run business. You have to run the numbers, you have to look at data. That's the best way to make your decisions, grounded in data. The big difference with being in more of a technology role, on the product management side in particular for me, is that now I'm actually driving decisions. So I'm actually taking those inputs and actually making something happen. And one of the other big differences is you feel a lot more of the weight and the pressure of performance and results on you because you are at the focal point of how decisions are made. And the array of challenges, like I mentioned earlier, is just so diverse. There's so many things you have to confront and have so many different groups you have to work with each and every day. Whereas in finance, you're a little more focused. You have a little more of a specialization. But in more the technology side, in a product management role, for me, it's very much more about general management.
When you're working on innovate, do you work with the R&D facility? You said.
Yeah, quite a bit. Yeah, so product management and is one of those. It was turned in a recent article. It's Silicon Valley's it job. Right? So it's the job that a lot of these younger kids, millennials in particular, want to have because you have a lot of different things that you can work on. Right? There's constant change. There's a lot of ambiguity, so it's interesting. It's also very challenging, and it's just a fun job. And so product management takes the inputs from sales and marketing and support, et cetera, and you synthesize what you need to have your engineering team build. Right, so you're right in the middle of that, and then so you're working with your R&D folks, and you're also having to tell that story to customers. So you are a product evangelist in many instances, and so you get both sides quite a bit.
I'm visiting here today with Matt Shultz. He's a product manager here with Symantec here in Silicon Valley, and we've been talking about the career paths for millennials. Matt, I need to take a quick break, and we'll be back after these messages.
I love fishing, with my family.
I think it would be easier to use a net.
It was so much fun.
The times when we are together, it makes it all the more worth it.
Having Dad teach them how to cast a fly rod, and
as long as we're doing stuff together, we're having fun.
Some people see a father and a son fishing together, while others see a succession plan.
Welcome back. I'm here today with Matt Shultz, and Matt has an MBA. You're working with Symantec here in Silicon Valley as a product manager. We were talking about the way that millennials think. They came up. Now you're on the very beginning of this, born in 1981.
I'm an old millennial.
Okay,
if you
so
look at my head, you'll see why. Yeah.
So but I want to jump back into your because you deal with some of the not only product management, but also the innovation there at Symantec. So first of all, how many people work on your team there?
So the business unit I'm in, there are about 15 product managers in general, and so I'm one of those 15, and we all have different pieces of the business. The interesting thing about product management is that you manage the product and you manage cross-functionally more than you manage direct reports. So it's a very different dynamic coming from finance, where by now in my career I'd have my own team and I'd be a manager of people. Now I'm managing processes and I'm managing other teams outside of R&D, right? So marketing and sales, and you have to influence without having authority. So it's a very different dynamic. But there are 15 of us in what's called the trust services business. It was part of the VeriSign acquisition that Symantec made about 4 years ago, and we do all things for online security, for online encryption, and also the part of the business I'm on is around application security.
Security's been a big issue, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
How do you keep up with the security? No, I had a guest on a few months back, and we talked about quantum computing, and he said, well, the biggest use that they have for quantum computers right now was breaking code.
Yeah, because quantum computers give you a lot more brute force, just firepower to go through and break through algorithms. And quantum computing, I follow that a little bit. I'm not an engineer by trade, but I follow that, and I think it's an exciting technology. For us to stay on top of what's going on, really, especially at a large established company like Symantec, which, by the way, was founded in 1981. It always surprises me that in this age here,
the year you were born.
Exactly. It's very old, 81 or 82. It's about as old as I am. And so for me, it's remarkable that a large player like Symantec has endured all these years when most of the other big players have kind of risen in the last decade. But for an established company that is a trusted advisor like Symantec, for us to stay on top of things, we have to listen to our customers and really pay attention to the different trends. In fact, we just launched a product last month that is first to market. It's a cloud-based solution for securing applications, and we're the only ones in the world who do this. And we do this because of what our customers were saying, and by identifying pain points in the market and saying, we have a unique opportunity to help our customers in a significant way. And so what does that product look like? And so for us, and then listening to customers and building the product and enriching the feature set based on their feedback.
When you're looking at your career path, how do you define success? Is it all about the money?
No, it's not. for me, the money and the compensation, it's important. It enables you to do other things and enables you to give back in a more significant way. But really, for me, success is about enjoying what I do every single day. And that's one thing I love about where I am now and being in Silicon Valley, is because you have so many options. You can always be in a position where you enjoy what you do. And so for me, success is having my career, like at a personal level, having my career progress at a pace that keeps things interesting for me. Like, I don't want to get stuck in one pigeonhole place where I get bored, right?
Okay, Matt, we need to take a quick break. Visiting here today with Matt Shultz. He's a product manager here in Silicon Valley with Symantec. And when we get back, I want to talk about how the millennials are viewing leadership and what that means to you.
Okay.
We'll be right back after these messages.
He's the world's most trustworthy man. Tax filing deadlines are scheduled around his vacation calendar. The IRS agent who audited his client apologized.
I don't always advise people on their taxes, but when I do, I save them every penny legally possible.
GrowCo CPAs and Advisors.
Come to GrowCo and stay wealthy, my friend.
Welcome back. I'm here today with Matt Shultz. He's an MBA and working as a product manager at Symantec. Matt, before the break, we're talking about that although you have an MBA and you started in finance, you now consider yourself more technology, innovating, looking for solutions to drive product solutions for the future. Now, it's not easy running a group of 15 people and then trying to keep everyone on the same playing field. When we talk about leadership, what do you look for in a leader?
So I should clarify, I don't actually run a team of 15 people. I'm part of a team of 15 people.
Okay.
To be like a VP level, I'm not there yet. Okay. I aspire to be there. So full disclosure. In leadership, though, at work especially, I look for someone who can really lead without authority, who can rally people around them and influence. Because the more I work, and the more experience I gain, I see how valuable it is. You have to get things done. And many times, the people you work with across the business and even within your own team, they're not robots. They're not going to just do this because they're supposed to, because it's in their job description. There's a real human element that different people can bring out of others in varying degrees. And to me, leadership is an effective leader is one who can bring out the best in people and really motivate them when someone else might not be able to do as good of a job, right? And to really get people to push themselves harder for a common purpose, a common cause, and kind of unite people under that purpose.
When you're working for, let's move back into term leadership. Do you have any role models? Someone who's the ideal leader to you?
I've had several. I don't have any one in particular that I absolutely just worship. But I've had several very good direct managers who have really mentored me in a significant way. There are a couple others who I've met since I've been here, who are in technology, and they've also provided valuable guidance to me, and I've seen how they work. The two in particular, Rob Etherington and also Dal Wilson, who was recently a guest on your show. Getting to know the two of those gentlemen has really made me a better person and a better leader, because I see that they motivate people to get things done in a way that doesn't compromise any standards at all and allows you to do that in a way that's sustainable.
Now, what leadership qualities do you value most at work?
At work, I'd probably say someone who gets things done in a way that is sustainable, right? Because a lot of people can get things done by steamrolling, and they can just go and they just like push and push and push, but you're going to disrupt relationships, and in the long term, you just can't do that. And so if you can get somebody who is is active enough to get results, but can do that in a way that doesn't burn bridges, I think that's the quintessential leader in a technology company.
And Matt, in addition to your work as a product manager, you have also become very involved in the community, and I also understand that you're working on a big project with some youth from the LDS Church to do a week-long camp out. You want to talk about that?
Sure.
What's going on?
We call it Zion's Camp. It's an effort that is done every 2 years for boys, high school age boys, 14 to 19, and we do a combination of faith-based activities and high adventure activities. I was involved in it 2 years ago and had a blast. And we have the next edition in just 1 month from now, going up to the High Sierras to a Boy Scout camp called Camp Old Jado. So we do a combination of things that are faith-based and will strengthen the religious foundation and help them prepare for life in that way, but also really have a good time. Right, go, do a four-wheel adventures, do some hiking, a lot of water activities, shooting activities, ropes course, rappelling, just a whole bunch of fun stuff like that. And I help run. I'm the assistant director for the effort over the South Bay region.
Just kind of a boot camp for boys too.
You could call it that. Absolutely.
They're pulling up their bootstraps and.
Yeah, we have a lot of service elements to it as well to serve in the community and to also enrich the camp that we're staying at. So yeah, basically on all facets, anything you could ask for a teenage boy to be ready to go out into the world, to be successful at college, career, etc. I'm
curious, is this program throughout the LDS Church, or is it something unique to what you've helped to develop?
So it is a legacy program that I inherited, right? Just being here just for the last few years. I moved here 3 years ago. It was started in the Los Altos area back in 2004, I believe. 2004, 2006. And so, but what I found is that it's a little different. It's different. Like each area throughout the LDS Church has a different program of this nature. This is probably the most interesting one I've ever come across myself. Just with the significance of how things are done, and with the breadth of activities we do.
We had a guest on our show recently, Prasad Kuiper. He talked about the importance in leadership of spiritually connecting with those that you work with.
Yeah.
Would you adhere to that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've heard, we had Prasad speak in the Management Society just a number of months ago, and it was fantastic. And I love that there are thought leaders and influential thought leaders like Prasad who are proposing that we need to think about the spiritual aspect of leadership. And for me, it's all about being the same person. I don't want to be a different person during 9 to 5 or whenever I'm at work versus who I am on a Sunday or versus who I am when I'm with friends on the weekend or whatnot. I want to be the same person, be a consistent person throughout. And I think if you can tie in how all of those pieces work together and to be a consistent leader and a consistent person, and you can make that work on the spiritual side, it just brings it all together. And I think you can have a lot more happiness in life and be more effective in general.
I'm visiting here today with Matt Shultz. He is a product manager with Symantec, part of the Millennial Group, and we've been talking about leadership qualities. And Matt, you mentioned something about this BYU Management Society here in the Silicon Valley that you head up. I want to get to that right after these messages.
Great.
With current laws, we have left our children an enormous financial burden. Even though they may be too young to understand it. At GrowCo, we care about you and the ones you love, and the quality of your and their lives. Call us today to see how we can help. 877-CPA-2006.
Helping you along the way.
Welcome back. I'm visiting here today with Matt Shultz. He's a product manager with Symantec and Millennial Generation. We've been talking about leadership qualities, and one of the things that you're doing to give back is you're currently serving as chapter president of the BYU Management Society's Silicon Valley chapter. Now, so first of all, how did you get active in this group?
So I think I've always liked to be involved in extracurricular activities of this nature, from high school forward, and in student leadership as an undergrad and as a graduate student. I first got involved with the Management Society back in 2007. I was a year out of school, decided, wow, I've heard about this thing. It's sponsored by BYU, and I should get involved. I feel like, why not, right? And so that was when I was living in Idaho Falls at the time. I was there for 3 years between degrees, and I signed up, and they actually asked me to help run their program, so become part of the board because they were starting the chapter. So that was like my first taste, and it was at a very small, very kind of startup mode for that chapter. Coming out here, I got involved just a couple of months after I moved here. I have a friend who is on the current board, and she made an introduction, and I just kept getting asked to do things. So for me, it was one of the reasons why I was looking forward to moving to Silicon Valley, because I knew that the chapter here was one of the strongest in the world, and I was looking forward to having the other side, instead of the startup chapter, having a very well established and very strong chapter here.
I understand you have Charlene Hawks coming up in a couple of weeks. What is the event date for that?
We do. It's June 12th.
Okay.
So we're really excited to have her.
And where's that at?
It'll be in Palo Alto, 3865 Middlefield Road. It's at an LDS meeting house. But the BYU Management Society, there's a strong affiliation with BYU because it is sponsored by the school, but it's not an alumni association. It's really something for local professionals to come together and to augment their network and to develop themselves personally and professionally, and to give back.
Now tell me about Charlene. Who is she, and why did you pick her?
So Charlene is currently CMO of a company who that catalogs and tells a story of soldiers around the world. It's really powerful stuff. Before that, she was an ESPN sportscaster for 16 years, and before that, she was Miss America of 1985. So she's done a variety of things. Brings great experience. She's a mother, has several children, and has really made it work in a very successful way by any measure. So we're really excited to hear from her and hear from her experience.
Do you have a website?
We do, yes. So it's siliconvalley.byums.org. And that is our chapter's landing page. And from there, you can go and look at the event calendar.
And can anybody join?
Anyone. Yep. We are not. We are affiliated with BYU, but you do not have to be an alumnus.
I'm visiting here today with Matt Shultz. He's an MBA, working here in Silicon Valley with Symantec as a product manager, and also serving as the current chair of the BYU Management Society. Matt, thank you for being on today's show.
Thank you.